over 7 years, my whole life revolved around affiliate marketing and promoting other people's products. As a matter of fact, in the last company that I was an affiliate for, I enrolled over 700 paying customers, won multiple awards, and earned multiple six figures in recurring commissions, promoting a software that I truly believed in. But then that chapter came to an end, and I found myself asking myself, in this season of life, what do I do next? Initially, I explored reselling, master resale rights courses, and even creating some courses of my own. But I really felt a disconnect with what I felt like I really should be doing. And I also wanted to create a business of my own like I've had in the past. So that's when I realized that I didn't have to really switch entirely what I was doing. I just had to come around full circle and pick up where I left off. And so in today's video, what I want to share with you is how I am stepping back into being a consultant and a service provider, helping entrepreneurs brand themselves, stand out, and help them grow their business online. And for me, in my world, that starts with your website. So before I could even think of a content strategy on how I was going to start driving traffic for my new offer as a consultant and website strategist, I had to start with my own website, because unlike a lot of people that kind of see a website as a commodity, or they see it as a brochure that kind of just sits there on the internet, I am of the school of thought that I use a website as a serious silent workhorse in my business that does a lot of the heavy lifting for me, so that I can shorten the sales cycle and get more people sold on who I am, what I do, and how I help them. And my website does a lot of that heavy lifting for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the thought process, which is basically my framework for how I work with clients on how I redesigned my website and the thought process behind it, so that if you are in this stage where you are either in a pivotal moment in your career, or you are looking to expand and grow, or maybe even rebrand what you already have, then sharing my thought process with you might give you some clarity on how to move forward with that. Now, if you stay to the end of the video, I've got a free resource for you that's going to walk you through the process of leveraging your website as your own conversion assistant. And I'm also going to show you how you can leverage it to attract prospects that already see your value and they're already sold on you. But before we get into all of that, there are 4 major decisions that I had to make when it came to restructuring my business and building my website around my business. So let's go through those 4 decisions now. So the first decision I had to make was all around positioning. So positioning boils down to, who do you actually want to help? And I spent a lot of years in the affiliate and network marketing space. And what I realized is that for the kind of websites that I wanted to build, which are silent workhorses that do a lot of the heavy lifting for my client, I realized that only the very, very top leaders understood the value of having a website that would brand them, that would help build trust, and that would basically pre-sell a prospect the moment that they landed on their website. So that helped me come to the conclusion that the type of person that I wanted to help was a relationship-driven entrepreneur or a service provider whose business depended a lot on trust. Take a dog trainer, for example. A dog trainer is a service provider. Trust is everything, because when you are looking for someone who can train your dog, yes, you're looking at the service, but you're also looking at the person that's behind the service, because you're asking yourself questions like, well, do I trust this person with my dog? Are they going to treat my dog well? Are they going to be in good hands? So not only are they looking at what you offer, but they're looking at the person behind the offer. And you can incorporate all those things inside of a website so that we can shorten the sales cycle, because your site is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So I wanted to work with people who already understood that, instead of trying to get in front of people
and try to convince them. So if you are looking for your ideal client, that's the thing that you should be asking yourself. Am I positioned in front of the people that I have to explain too much and convince them about my pricing and what I offer? Or am I better off positioning myself in front of the people who already value what I am doing, but they're looking for who to actually buy that service from?
So the second decision I had to make was about branding. And branding is more than just your color palette and your logo. It's about how you want people to experience your brand when they step into your world. So for years, my branding was like super duper colorful, super duper energetic. I mean, even before I had this bright blue brick wall behind me, and it showed my personality. But after 7 years of doing what I was doing and coming out of that experience with more wisdom, more maturity, and really feeling more grounded, I wanted my brand to also reflect that. And that's when I changed even my filming area from that bright blue, super colorful a background to something that was a little more toned down, a little more serious, but it still shows my personality. And so if you are also in that stage where you're thinking about your branding, then I would say this. Branding is a reflection of who you are in that season of life, and it's okay for your branding to evolve. Now, here's something interesting. Orange has never been like my favorite color. I would have never naturally chosen it. But what I did know is that I wanted a color that would still show my personality and still feel energetic and approachable, but without feeling overwhelming. So I tested red, and red just felt a little bit too aggressive for me, and blue just didn't have enough energy, and yellow was a little bit too bright. But then one day, I don't know what happened, I just tried orange, and I loved the way it looked on camera, so that orange was the perfect fit for me, and I incorporated it into my brand. Now, too much orange was going to be overwhelming. So on my website, which I will scroll here for you, I will show you a screenshot as I'm speaking, but I needed to balance the orange with neutral colors. And what I did was I chose black and like a cream color because I wanted something that was a little bit more serious, more mature, a little bit luxurious, but without being too intimidating because I still wanted to be approachable. And it's amazing how color communicates a vibe and a feeling without ever having to say a word. The bottom line is that branding boils down to alignment. It's how you feel in the season of life that you're in right now and how you want people to experience your brand and your business. Now, the third decision that I had to make was all about messaging. What am I going to say on the website? And let me tell you, it is so much easier for me to do this for other people and other businesses because I can see into their businesses. But when we are doing it for our own business, it's like sitting inside of a glass bottle, not being able to see the label and trying to communicate all these ideas into one simple message. And that, my friend, is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And then I stumbled upon Donald Miller. He is the creator of StoryBrand, and his whole thing is clarity and the power of the edit. So I took what I learned from him and I went back into the laboratory and I refined my message based on the 7-step framework, which now I'm implementing into my client projects, because what happens is a lot of business owners, and this is where they mess up the copy on their website, is that they go into talking about themselves and what they can do and how many years of experience we have. And we've been in business for how many years? And that is you-centered copy. And what we want to do instead is we want to shift the focus on how we help our potential clients by having customer focused copy, outcome focused copy. And that was the big lesson that I learned from Donald Miller, which is your customer is the hero and you want to tell a story that they see themselves in. And then you're the guide that actually helps them.
So believe it or not, the biggest messaging breakthrough I had was not around what to say, but around what not to say. It was all about the edit and restraining so that we could keep things clear and simple for our clients to understand.
That was the biggest takeaway for me in messaging. So once I got clear on my positioning, my branding, and my messaging, then I had to make the fourth decision, which was all about technology and choosing the platform or platforms that would support the type of business that I wanted to build. Now, in the past, I would just look at, well, what is the cheapest platform for the price? Where now I'm looking at, well, what platform is going to support the business model that I'm building? And that was a really important lesson for me because there's a lot of platforms out there and some of them are focused more on creating courses and some are stronger in funnel building and some are stronger in websites. And I needed something that was a little bit in between. So what I ended up doing was I chose Lovable for the front end of my business because it gives me the flexibility and the ability to customize through custom prompting to create the kind of customer experience that I wanted to on my website. And then I ended up choosing GHL for the back end of my business because they also have an AI builder that's kind of comparable to Lovable, but it also integrates the forms and the site builder, and I can use their funnel builder on the back end so that I have a well-rounded tech stack to grow the kind of business that I want to build. So the bottom line with technology is that before I would have decided the platform on just price, and now I'm looking more at, is this platform going to support the kind of business and the business model that I have and want to build? So the biggest takeaway for me as far as the technology goes is the platform itself is not the strategy. The platform is there to support the business strategy. That's the lesson I took from that. So by now you can see that there's a lot more that goes into building a website that represents you and your business than just maybe slapping a template together. If you want a website that actually represents who you are, attracts your ideal client, and acts as a conversion assistant tool in your business, there's a lot of moving parts that you want to pay attention to, which is exactly why I created a free resource for you, and it's called the High Trust Website Formula. And it's a training that walks you through the process of building a high trust website that reflects you and attracts your ideal clients. So if you want to check that out, I will link it for you in the description box right below this video and in the pinned comment. So make sure to check that out. So with that being said, what was your biggest takeaway from everything that I've shared with you today? Make sure to leave them in the comment section right below this video. And if you want to check out my website, you can go ahead and do that over at personalbrandforprofit.com. So this has been Barbie Figueroa. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on another video. Bye for now.